Hey, David here again. Hey, I want to do a real quick video on the installation of my bars. I had a previous video where I did a review on these. Actually, I did bars versus clip-ons. If you didn't see that video, go ahead and look for it and you'll find it. But I just want to do a quick walk through, a step through, if you would, of the installation. As you know, the clip-ons are fixed, they're rigid, they're down low, they're close together. I didn't like the way that felt. I have broad shoulders. I wanted more leverage when I ride my bike. So these are out, these are in. And I wanted to go over the installation on this. It looks very straightforward when you get the kit. Turns out it isn't all that straightforward. So what the kit came with, this is an ABM incidentally. Spiegler makes one for the States, but it's very, very shiny. This one is made by ABM. I believe Spiegler is the parent company. These I actually bought overseas. They were in Europe and I had to wait for them to come over, which was no issue. They're the color I want, the finish I want. They're really, really nice, very, very beautiful. Lots of adjustability. I have indexes here to where I can adjust them, roll them up and down where they are. Also, I can take loose the base. There's 4 bolts here holding the actual handlebars onto this, and then there's 4 more bolts underneath on this mount, which are reversible. They have an offset, so I can unbolt those after I take these off, unbolt them, turn them around, and I can actually offset this bar forward and backward. And it doesn't look like it's a lot of adjustment, but it really, really is. Between rolling these, using your indexes, you have a lot of adjustability with this. And I've settled on the adjustment that I have right now. It really, really works for me. So, the kit came with the bars, it came with the clamps, it came with the new top brace here. Incidentally, it did not replace the top of the triple. This just goes right on top of it. To install it, it's what I would consider a slip fit. You use a rubber mallet to pound this thing home. So when it goes around the fork tubes, this thing was really, really difficult to get on there. I had to pound it with a rubber mallet. And once it was seated all the way, it was just a beautiful fitment on this thing. I did have to replace these 4 mounting bolts here. I used some nice chrome ones, although it came with really nice ones to start with. But I have, it's a Streetfighter, so I have to fabricate a lot of stuff. And the bottom of this has a nut that holds the bracket for my shield on the front. So with that said, it did also come with a new replacement brake hose. This particular one goes from the master cylinder down to a block down here. You got to be, this is where the difficulty comes in. You got to be real careful when you install this. It came with this brand new block that you see here. It rerouted a little bit, but when you install it, you got to make sure, and making sure means going lock to lock, up and down, exercising the entire part of the suspension, and make sure that these lines aren't rubbing anything. Your brake, your throttle cables, your electrical wiring. So for example, when I first put this in, it was just like you see here until I went to torque this down. Once I torqued it down, it put a little torsion on it, and now this thing was permanently up here. So I had to break this loose, go ahead and preload it, and then tighten it back up. And then when I finally let go, you get the result that you see now, where it's not hitting anything when I go down the road. That's the type of detail that you need when you install this. Up top here, it came with some additional brackets, which I didn't really figure out how they worked. I happen to have some aluminum around, some thin aluminum. So I made this little bracket. I happen to have a bolt fitting here. This bracket originally had this master cylinder up higher. This was upside down from what you see it now, but then this was interfering with that, my cables. So I had to flip this over, move it down a little bit, and then I was able to run my cables on top, my throttle cables. I even tried running them down below. I didn't like that either. Similarly with this, I just got some thin aluminum, like a sheet. You can cut with tin snips, drill some holes, and it's really, these are quite solid and they're not gonna go anywhere. And I've read online that a lot of people don't like the mounts that came in the original kit. Got to make sure that everything is working, all of your cables, your throttle, your clutch master, all of that from lock to lock is going to work okay. That's where all the detail comes in. One other thing is when I mounted this kill switch, the run switch as it's called, normally what you'll do is drill a hole for that in the bars, which I didn't want to do because of that adjustability. And I maybe want to move the controls in and out a little bit to suit me. So what I did is I took this apart. It's just a couple of Phillips. This comes right apart. The indent is made out of plastic. You take a Dremel, you cut that little notch out of it, then you don't have to drill a hole in here. For holding this so it doesn't rotate on you, you put either some aluminum foil. In my case, I like to use gaffer's tape. It's a cloth tape. Sticks on there really well, provides all of the friction that I need. It's not going anywhere. So on this bar, I did not drill any holes at all. So anything on here is friction. It's a really nice kit. Also came with these, actually I ordered additionally, these bar end weights because they can get a little buzzy with the vibration. These worked out very, very well. My CRG mirrors just mounted right up, good to go. So, again, the core of this install is very easy. You pound this on, you bolt these on, right? You put your bars on there. The tricky part will be unbolting them from your clip-on, suspending all of this, right? Suspending all of this, put the new one on, get it fixed where you want it, and then you take it and you start bolting everything on. And the real important thing, if you do this yourself, make sure you don't have any interference or rubbing when you're done with all of your controls. So, really pleased with this, super pleased with this. It's a game changer. When I'm riding with my buddies on the track, in the twisties, in the tight twisties, this is an absolute game changer for me. You know, I have wide shoulders to start with. Instead of doing this leaned over, now I'm a little more upright. I've got that leverage. You know, I can flick this bike around. And again, the ZX14 Streetfighter shed probably 125 pounds with the fairing and everything off the exhaust. This is coming in, I think, at 460, 465 with these wide bars. Oh, it's go time. So, quick, down and dirty on this install. If you're thinking about it, get it. Incidentally, this kit from ABM was designed for the it was designed for the ZX14, not as a Streetfighter, but with a full fairing. So this original install, where these bars were back and you were more upright, clears your fairings. That's very important. If you go to ABM's website, they'll have bikes specifically, they'll have kits specifically for your bikes. Because I don't have the fairing, I have the latitude where I can go ahead and adjust a little bit more. I don't have clearance issues. You may not have that when you do your install. So there it is. Have any questions? Go ahead and post them in the comments and I'll get back with you and tell them, seize the road.